Okay, it's Champions League tonight, and I'm just going to show you one of many things that you could do with BetAngel to improve what you're doing and how you're looking at the market when you're looking at a football match. Tonight we've got Chelsea and Juventus playing, so if I go into search and do Chelsea and Juve, that will bring up all of the markets, and you can see there are absolutely bucket loads of them. And one of the things that you must be aware of with football stroke soccer markets is that they're all related. So we've just dragged and dropped those into Guardian, and you can see Guardian populating it. We've clicked up here to search by volume, and that will tell us where the most active markets are. And then we're going to have a deeper look at them using a spreadsheet. So you can see the biggest markets are match odds over and under 2.5 goals correct score, and then we've got decreasing volume from there. And you can see right down the bottom here, first half corners, we've got the grand total of £8 matched, so that's an exciting market. But what we're going to do here is on each match I'm really interested in how these markets are linked together, because say for example you're trading before the off. If the price on one market moves slightly out of kilter, then the next market near to it or that's related to it will adjust, and I'll show you that here. If we go to the Excel section of Guardian, I've already browsed the file that I want, and if I open that workbook we can have a look at what we've done. So before we go into the workbook, I'm going to link these markets. Let me just get rid of the rest of those because we don't need to look at those for this example. And what I'm going to do is link on the Excel sheet the match odds market to the match odds sheet, the over and under to the over and under, and the correct score to the correct score. And then if I click on connect here, all of that data will now pour into the spreadsheet. So if we look at the spreadsheet in question, what you can see here is actually you can see we're slightly off the bottom here. Let's pull that up. This is information about the under and over 2.5 goal market and the correct score market. Now you can link all of these markets together, or you can link all of these markets within one match or loads of matches. You can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And once you've done that, you can create weird and wonderful spreadsheets to tell you bits of information about the market. So here you can see the activity on the over and under 2.5 goal market. You can see the implied probabilities, i.e. the chance the market is discounting that these will happen, and here you can see the correct score information. That's held on the correct score spreadsheet, as you can see here, and all we've done is sucked it across to our own spreadsheet, our own sheet within this workbook to interrogate what's going on in the market. But you can see, to make things a bit clearer, I've split out correct score results that would end in under 2.5 goals. So you can see 0-0 is under 2.5 goals, 0-1 under 2.5, 0-2, and so on and so forth. And then I've added all these up at the bottom here. So you can see under 2.5 goals according to the correct score market is 57.23%, which is over here. And you can see on the main market on under 2.5 goals it's priced at 57.14. So in fact the correct score market is discounting a slightly higher price than the main market. And you can see the ratio here, we're saying that it's almost in sync, 99.84. But you can see over 2.5 goals is slightly out of sync. And that is sort of not unusual, but the most significant thing about this is when the market goes out of sync, then arbitrageurs have to step in to correct it. I say have, they don't have to, but they will, I can assure you of that. So if you're actively trading this market before the off, it's worth having BetAngel fired up with a spreadsheet linked into all of this so that you can keep an eye on what's going on. Because if it's about to touch that outer limit where an arbitrager will step in, that will happen. People will do that. But you can also work out derivative markets as well. So you can see the draw here, according to the main market, is worth 30.8% of implied probability, and on the correct score it's worth 30.4%. And that is because obviously it only goes up to a 3-all draw. So what the market is missing out is a 4-all draw or more, effectively. And you can see here that the market is basically saying that the score line that doesn't exist within the market is about a 0.4% chance of occurring. So you can create derivative information off of the back of this particular market or this particular view. So there's lots of interesting things to do there. And if I look at the match from last night, if I just bring this up to give you an example, here it pops up. You can see I captured a moment here where it had tipped over in one direction, so the main market was above the correct score market. And it's situations like this that tell you that one of those will have to snap back into place. And that's what you often see if you're actively trying to do pre-market trading on football, is the market will snap and suddenly move 3 or 4 ticks, or however many it needs to correct. And aside from all of the other reasons for that, this is one of the reasons that could occur. And of course, it's unlimited how many workbooks you want to connect to BetAngel. All you need to do is populate them in Guardian. So we could list even more down here if we do Man and Gala. There we go, Man United and Galatasaray. We can add those markets in here as well if we want to. And then you could include that in the same spreadsheet or on a separate spreadsheet. But basically, the more information you've got in front of you, whether you're in play or before the off, the better you will perform. And I recommend that you fiddle around with spreadsheets and start working on all of these sort of multiple and interesting areas, because there's lots of hidden value and information contained within these areas on football markets, and that's because they're all interrelated.